All right, very cool. Thank you again, everyone, for joining. I'm Peter Schwartz, in case you haven't guessed, and I'm going to be taking you on a tour of the two articulation switching systems that I make for Logic. SkiSwitcher, which is the original system I developed and put on the market about 2 years ago, and ARTzID, which is like the next generation that uses a different approach to basically accomplish the same thing. And the reason I developed SkiSwitcher in the first place was because of key switching instruments. And at the time, key switching instruments were my mainstay. I wasn't using so many multi-timbral instruments as I was key switching instruments. And the big problem with key switching instruments is that key switch notes don't chase. So depending on where you started playback in a project, a key switch may or may not be encountered. And when it's not encountered at the right time, you hear parts play with the wrong articulation. So I developed SkiSwitcher to overcome that problem. And I'm now going to switch to a Logic screen and show you. I'm sure most of you are familiar with that problem, but just to put a basis to this whole thing, let me show you what I mean. So here, actually, you know what? I'm gonna load up a different project. I'm gonna load up a different one. Close that one. Don't save. It's almost there, I promise. There we go. All right. This is actually a little demo that I have on the SkiSwitcher website. And, oh, by the way, you know what? Just in case, hello from Portugal. Cool. Hi, Jorge. Before we go any further, if anybody here is not a SkiSwitcher.com customer and wants to buy one of these systems, let me give you the discount code in case you have to run. 1 second here. Yeah, I'm back. So the discount code is basically Ask Audio, which is the firm, the organization that is hosting this webinar. And let me just quickly show you how to do this. Hopefully you can see my main screen here. There we go. So you just go to, look at that, it autofills. So on skiswitcher.com, come on, load up. If you go to any one of these purchase tabs here, let's say, okay, I want to buy SkiSwitcher too. So just enter Ask Audio like that, no spaces, it's not case sensitive, and it will automatically deduct. For SkiSwitcher, it'll take $10 off the price. For ARTzID, it'll take $20 off the price. And for the update, if you're a SkiSwitcher customer and you want to upgrade to ARTzID, you can get that for $10 off, so that's $29. So just enter Ask Audio in the discount code, and when you get to the PayPal page, it will automatically reflect the discount. Okay, and I'll repeat that a couple of times. So here, Ask Audio, just like that. All right. Well, thank you, Ronick, for saying I'm generous. I really appreciate everybody coming, to see this. So I figure it's the least I can do. It's my pleasure to offer the discount. So let's make this go away. And so here's a typical situation that caused me to come up with SkiSwitcher in the first place. Here we have a typical key switching instrument. And so, key switching instruments, a range of keyboard notes are allocated to switch articulations. That's the whole scheme there. And, it's very cool, staccato, and then you hit another note outside the range of the playable range of the instrument, and you get different articulations. It's very clever. It's been around for years and doesn't show any signs of going away, this approach. But here's one of the problems. So I'm going to play this little demo, and again, this is something I have on the website, but I thought thought it might be cool to show it live. So what's going on here is all these notes down here are the key switch notes that had to be recorded in order to get these different notes to play different articulations. So this little guy over here, that little staccato, I had to have a key switch occur before that staccato note in order to switch from the sustain samples to that one. And then there are other key switch notes. This one here switches these notes to play staccato. But the problem arises when you want to start playback from somewhere in the middle of a phrase. The very last note here plays pizzicato, this guy here. And it was told to play pizzicato by way of this key switch note. This is the last key switch note. Oh, you know what? Let me put this in range here. There we go. So here's the pizzicato note, and here's the key switch that told the plugin to switch to pizzicato. But if I now start playback from the middle of this staccato section, then that's when all hell breaks loose. And you know, it sounds comical, but it grows tired real fast. The reason that we're hearing this with pizz instead of staccato is because this key switch note was never encountered at the point where I started playback. Now the reason that we're hearing it properly with staccato now is because MIDI out is enabled, and I highlighted that note, so it caused it to be sent to the plugin. But if I now play back from here, it wasn't encountered. So the whole point of SkiSwitcher and ARTzID is to get the actual notes of the music to select their own articulation so that you don't need this stuff, and so that playback is always perfect because the articulation information is contained in the notes themselves. So here's the SkiSwitcher version of it. It's down here. And as you can see, there are no key switch notes. There are just notes. So, and let's look at this as notation. One of the other benefits of having the notes actually contain their own articulation information is that when you click on a note in an editor, it will immediately sound with the right articulation, which is something you normally cannot do without one of these systems. So if I click on this note, it's going to sound with the portamento articulation, and you can see here it will switch to this as soon as I click on it. Oh, you know what? I'm showing the wrong plugin. Duh. Hold on. There we go. This is a staccato note here, so as soon as I click on it, it switches to the staccato articulation. And here's that last note, which is pizzicato. So one of the benefits of this system, aside from having, you know, perfect playback from any position like this, is that when you're editing notes, you can always hear the notes in context of the samples that they're supposed to play. You know, maybe that note's a little bit too loud. Let me get rid of this. So I can go in here into the event list, and I can edit the velocity and hear that velocity change in context with the note. Now,